Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter is a tactical shooter video game released for Xbox 360, Xbox, PlayStation 2 and Microsoft Windows. As in previous Ghost Recon games, players command their team of ghosts while neutralizing hostile forces and completing various mission objectives. These objectives can range from escorting friendly units across the map to rescuing hostages or taking out enemy artillery. Being a tactical shooter, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter places emphasis on using cover effectively in order to stay alive, together with sound strategic coordination to successfully complete mission objectives. A new feature is the Integrated Warfighter system, a system based upon the future Force Warrior program. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2, the game's direct sequel, was released a year later, in 2007. Gameplay. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter is slightly unusual in that there are 3 versions of the game for 4 different platforms, with minor varied storyline missions. The PlayStation 2 and Xbox versions are essentially the same title, while the Xbox 360 and the Windows versions stand on their own. Gameplay emphasis is placed upon the player to do the bulk of the fighting while AI teammates tag along. The player controls a single squad of soldiers, but only directly controls the squad leader. However, the player can issue commands to the AI-controlled team members to maneuver them indirectly. Combat in Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter is more forgiving than previous games in the series. Players can often survive several bullet hits before dying, instead of dying after only a couple of shots like in the original Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon series. However, players are unable to heal their health in the middle of a mission, and a single headshot or a sustained burst of assault rifle fire can kill the player instantly. So the game still relies more on tactical combat rather than arcade run-and-gun shooting. GRAW features numerous firearms, many based on real weapons, including the Heckler & Koch G36, the Beretta M9, and the FN Scar. A few, such as the Mr. C, are actually hypothetical prototypes. The game also makes use of various other pieces of equipment, including tanks, armored personnel carriers, and remote-controlled unmanned aerial vehicles. Xbox 360 version. Unlike all other versions of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, the Xbox 360 version gives the player the choice to use either a third-person or first-person view during the campaign mode. This version features a unique covering system, which allows the player to duck behind objects for covering and perform tactical maneuvers such as pop and shoot. In the Xbox 360 version, the player is accompanied by a squad of 3 AI-controlled teammates. While the player may issue orders to the entire squad, they cannot issue orders to any individual team member. The Xbox 360 and Windows versions of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter feature a cross-comm system. This system allows the player to command not only his squad, but also other friendly units. The cross-comm system can be used in conjunction with the Intel map, which is a tactical map showing the entire play area, to issue commands. PlayStation 2 and Xbox versions. The PlayStation 2 and Xbox console versions of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter is a first-person shooter. Notably, these versions have fewer features than the Xbox 360 or the Windows versions. Players only have a single AI-controlled teammate following them on missions. Scott Mitchell never speaks in this version. Microsoft Windows version. The Microsoft Windows version of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter takes place from a first-person perspective. This version allows the player to issue different commands to each individual squad member, in an effort to appeal to the fans of the original Ghost Recon series. It requires the player to use squad tactics in order to achieve success. It also features larger levels than the console versions, with enemy AI more likely to use ambush tactics. thus requiring more situational awareness from the player. Like the Xbox 360 version, the Microsoft Windows version features a cross-comm system that allows the player to issue commands to other friendly units, as well as to lay out attack routes and battle plans on a real-time tactical map. The cross-comm system also highlights enemy soldiers spotted by friendly units. However, unlike the Xbox 360 version, the cross-comm will only highlight enemy soldiers spotted by computer-controlled squad mates, rather than those in the player's own field of vision. The Microsoft Windows version can take advantage of the presence of a PHYSX card. However, the enhancements are only cosmetic and do not affect gameplay. Before the start of a mission, the player is allowed to choose the weapons for the Ghost team, although this is done with no briefing given. A Ghost may carry a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, and extra ammunition or a heat-seeking anti-tank weapon. Every Ghost has a maximum weight he can carry. The more equipment a Ghost is carrying, the faster he will become fatigued when sprinting. Some of the weapons may be modified and the player can add various modifications to them, such as optical sights, grenade launchers, silencers, and vertical foregrips. Every modification has its advantages and disadvantages. The combat red dot sight increases accuracy by replacing the standard iron sights, but adds some weight. Grenade launchers reduce accuracy and are heavy, but give the option of launching grenades. Silencers decrease the sound level of the weapon firing and also reduce the muzzle flash at the expense of accuracy and range. Vertical foregrips increase stability at the expense of accuracy. Players can also take ammunition from the weapons of dead enemies or allies if the player's weapon is of the same caliber, but players are not allowed to pick up the discarded weapons themselves. Multiplayer. Online multiplayer on the Microsoft Windows edition has both Versus and Co-op mode. Versus mode features 32 players, which is double that of the Xbox 360 version. The online co-op mode only supports up to 4 players maximum on Windows. For those with the Xbox 360 version, some new Xbox Live features are included. For the Xbox 360 version, the cooperative campaign and multiplayer maps are all set in Nicaragua as a follow-up to the Mexico City missions of the single-player campaign. On June 22, Ubisoft released the Chapter 2 downloadable content for 1,200 Microsoft points on the Xbox Live Marketplace. The price of 1,200 points was later reduced to 600. In the UK, a special Game of the Year edition was released in late 2006 containing a card enabling the player to obtain all the Marketplace content, including the Chapter 2 download. The game is also budget-priced. The PlayStation 2 and Xbox versions have some similar online game modes and can be played with up to 8 players. Plot overview. Captain Scott Mitchell commands the fictitious elite Ghost Recon team in an attempt to protect the presidents of the U.S. and Mexico, recover stolen U.S. technology, and battle the rebellious Mexican forces. Written by Gerard Leone, the story unfolds entirely in a realistic and detailed modeling of Mexico City, one of the world's largest cities. It is this size that allows Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter to provide multiple locations like in previous Ghost Recon games, ranging from heavily industrialized areas to local parks and landmarks to office districts. Story. The game takes place over the course of 3 days in 2013, beginning in Mexico City. A U.S. spy plane carrying Guardrail IX, a device capable of disrupting wireless communications, is shot down over Nicaragua. Intelligence discovers a plot to transfer the device to rebels in Mexico City and the Ghosts are sent in to retrieve it. One of the rebels is identified as Colonel Carlos Ontiveros, son of Mexican Jen Ontiveros, who was a student of Bud Mitchell's friend and a UH-60 pilot. The mission is aborted when a coup d'etat begins in Mexico City and the Ghosts are ordered to the capital immediately, where a summit involving U.S. President Ballantyne, Mexican President Ruiz Peña, and an unnamed Canadian Prime Minister who are signing the North American Joint Security Agreement, is taking place. The summit is attacked by Mexican revolutionaries who kill the Canadian Prime Minister and force the presidents of the US and Mexico into hiding. Mitchell is sent to extract both leaders. President Ballantyne is safely evacuated to Air Force One but is unable to take off due to the danger of being shot down. President Ruiz Peña is evacuated to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City where a bomb destroys the embassy, but the ghosts fend off a massive onslaught long enough for help to arrive. Ruiz Peña allows the U.S. forces to fight the rebels and restore order. Mitchell is tasked with destroying artillery to open the road for an assault on Chapultepec, where 50 M1A2 Abrams tanks given to the Mexican government as part of NAJSA lie idle. He is later ordered to rescue the American advisory group who had been training the Mexicans in how to use them and borrow a few tanks. The rebels use Guardrail IX to monitor U.S. communications, and a rebel special forces group, called the Agula 7, ambush the ghosts protecting President Ballantyne. Mitchell is ordered to rescue him, which is successful, but the nuclear football is stolen by the rebels, and with the Guardrail IX, the rebels are able to control U.S. ICBMs, which caused China and Russia to ready their own. Mitchell is ordered to retrieve the Guardrail IX and the football, but only disables the Guardrail IX. His team is then ordered to clear several blockades in Mexico City to allow U.S. tanks to pass. While being extracted, Major General Martin's UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter is shot down and Mitchell is ordered to defend him until he can be extracted. U.S. forces then begin a final push towards the Zocalo Plaza, where General Ontiveros is held up inside the Palacio Nacional. Mitchell destroys the last pieces of the Guardrail IX before sneaking into the palace. General Ontiveros is there, captured while attempting to flee. Carlos manages to escape and hijacks Bud's Black Hawk, killing Bud in the process. He flies to the wrecked U.S. Embassy and begins transferring the codes for the U.S. nuclear arsenal. Mitchell and his team raid the embassy, recover the football and kill Carlos, a retired U.S. Army general who was opposed to the NAJSA is discovered to be the traitor within the U.S. government that had been assisting Ontiveros and Agula 7 in their activities. Reception. In May 2005, the Xbox 360 edition of Advanced Warfighter was shown to the press in trailer form at the E3 convention in Los Angeles. The Xbox 360 version of Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter was released on March 9, 2006 to multiple rave reviews. Game Rankings and Metacritic gave it a score of 90.47% and 90 out of 100. Electronic Gaming Monthly praised the game's stunning next-generation presentation and high entertainment value, giving it an average score of 9.5 out of 10. The game was noted for its deeply immersive atmosphere, smart AI, wide variety of weapons, multiple action scenes and believable storyline. The Xbox 360's version was particularly noted for its realistic graphics. Game Trailers gave the game its highest review ever, a 9.9 out of 10, stating that GRAW is a landmark next-gen game that redefines shooters. Ubisoft is not only kicking the door in with Advanced Warfighter, they are taking the whole damn building down along with it. Reviews for other platforms range from positive to mixed to negative. Game Rankings and Metacritic gave the game a score of 80.07% and 80 out of 100 for the PC version, 64.57% and 66 out of 100 for the Xbox version, and 50.67% and 44 out of 100 for the PlayStation 2 version. On October 5, 2006, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter won 2 out of the 8 nominated BAVGA awards, including Best Technical Achievement and Best Game. Sales: Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter sold 1.2 million in the United States, 8,903 in Japan, and 200,000 in the United Kingdom.